16th of February 25, and it's time for a long discussion. I know how important this is to people on YouTube because they've got lots of shorts, but people want longs. They want long people discussing stuff, and of course, I can't talk about other stuff. I can't criticise YouTube, right? So no, I won't. I won't say anything like the algorithms not very good in that. So you find good quality. You're wanting good quality rambling. And that's even if you're rambling, if you get Bluetooth things with. So here's the big question. Is Trump mad and will he be removed? And I think, to me, the answer to both of these is yes. And I would have voted Trump in the election on mass migration. No other issue. Everything else I think is a bit crazy. But even in that is a bit crazy. But, and not thinking enough, as we've already seen uh, people, we've already seen diehard Trump enablers arguing with Elon Musk about the H1 visas or whatever it was. Musk's wants him very much, he says, and he probably would use a role model as Vivek, his friend Vivek. What a success he's been, both in his business and also in the Trump administration. Trump got rid of him in 2 weeks. I don't think he even made the inauguration. Um, we don't know what went on. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, so I would have voted for Trump on mass migration. Is Trump mad? Yes. And will he be removed? And the two things that I think are important though is because this time he's going to go with no restraints. You know, the last time he just brought in the neocon establishment basically. You know, or people like it like Rex Tillerman, Mike Pence, all these enablers. Uh, who now I'm guessing are all against him, saying don't vote for him, he's mad. Um, I think that forever they're disgraced, all those enablers. You can never take them serious again, you know. Pence, not that I did, but you know, you were meant to take him. I took him 90% unserious, but now once he became Trump's vice president, it was 100%, you know. So I think this time Trump's going to be totally mad. It's Trump unleashed, and he's bringing in his cabinet just random crazies. But the one thing about all these crazies is once they all sit around the same table, they all find each other crazy, which is a bit of a surprise, you know. So we'll see how that's going to go. There's going to be fireworks. And then he's got all these sort of Republican sort of quote rhino, if they want to call themselves, new rhinos, the new rhinos, like J.D. Vance, um, you know, ones that have come through the system, like Rubio. I mean, they're all going to regret being part of it. I mean, just this week, Trump got asked, "Do you think J.D. Vance will be your successor?" And he said instantly no. And then when he was asked, "Is Elon Musk doing a lot of stuff?" he said the first thing he said was, "This was going to get off the helicopter or something." He said something like, "Elon's doing great. He puts stuff in front of us, and sometimes we say no." You know, he's always putting his anybody down. And the thing is, he's one of these poster types that just don't make sense. You know, they've got like sort of minds of 5-year-olds in terms of how they perceive themselves. You know, and I don't think even the banker and all that, he wouldn't even be bothered with them. It's all just to make. He's got to look great, even when it doesn't make any sense. And not only that, he says stuff when he's even talking where you're not allowed to have any other thought. You have to think that way, and it's just ridiculous. You know, he'll say things like he's great and he's given 200 million, or and then he'll say something like, or was it 300 billion or whatever. You know, he just even ups it while he's talking. You know, ups himself. So it doesn't make any sense at all, really. So we've got that aspect of him. And will he be removed? Well, the only people that can remove him is his own fan base, his own enablers. And I think it will happen, actually. We saw this in Britain with Truss and Boris. It wasn't their fan base that removed them, it was their own cabinet. I mean, this town, Trump's surrounding himself with, well, disposable people that aren't even good in politics, you know, Tulsi Gabbard, or, well, she wasn't political, but she's just a random person. I don't even know if she's a senator now or whatever, you know. J.D. Vance, oh, well, he's a, I mean, but Elon Musk, you know, or Kennedy, you know, just crazies basically. So he's surrounding himself with this lot, hoping that I'll be loyal. And when they say loyalty, he only wants loyalty. He'll flatter him and all that, but at the same time, if he doesn't want him anymore, he'll just trash him. And he'll even trash him and then flatter him and trash him. He even done that to Netanyahu recently. He trashed him, but now he's saying he'll give him the whole Gaza, and Trump will own Gaza, you know. And this was the person who was coming in to say that USA would not be involved in any more wars or anything. They were pulling out, or well, here and there, or whatever. So it doesn't make any sense at all. And then just the stuff he's doing with Ukraine this week, he's basically giving Russia nearly everything they can. Putin's going to say that's not enough. You need to give me everything I want. And he's going to try his best to try and give him that. And it doesn't even make any sense, you know. And see, people call him a deal maker or something. I know I see people call him a deal. He's absolutely no deal maker at all. He's the worst deal maker of everyone. And I think his own support base, his own meme coin owners, even they wouldn't buy anything off him, like wouldn't do business with him or buy anything like a car, or you know, if you could you imagine him coming to your door and you're listening to him even for a minute or something, you'd be thinking, this person's mad, I just want to close the door. I think even his own fan base would do that as well, you know. So yeah, will he be removed? I think there must be a chance, because this time he's going totally unrestrained. I mean, the only thing that he really wants to do is that tariff thing. He's got in his head that that tariff thing is the way to go. William McKinley or whatever, I think he got assassinated at the end of it. He's got that in his brain. It's the exact opposite of Ronald Reagan, really. Free trade, basically. It's a sort of old-fashioned socialist thing. You know, put tariffs in so that your national workers will start doing the businesses instead. It'll be interesting to see if that happens or not. I mean, I'm guessing it won't. It'll be a disaster, but it might. You know, I don't know. People are saying that if he puts 20% tariff on it, they'll just put 20% on the price to America. You know. Yeah, so it will be interesting to see. Yeah, and a good site to look at is this one on Twitter: the Republicans against Trump, and I just take this to be a fair-minded, sensible Twitter feed. And it's a sort of fact checker against Trump, because even just yesterday Trump was saying something like USA have given Ukraine 300 billion and Europe have given 100 billion, and then he said, and that 100 billion's a loan. And I just checked Google Grok, and it says that USA's probably given about 175 billion, and this is Elon Musk's Google Grok, 175 billion. But that's how much they've maybe promised it. We don't even know if they've given that, and it said something like it might be around about 75 billion in truth. And then it said Europe's given about 176 billion. So according to Grok, Europe's given even more. Whether that's loans, I don't know. But so, and really, you need a fact checker for nearly every single thing that Trump says. You know, he tells so many lies that you just can't keep up, basically, and you give up. You just can't. There's not even any point in debating. Debating somebody who just makes stuff up. How do you do that? You know, say if you're an atheist and you're having a debate with someone who's religious. I mean, how do you go about a debate like that? You know, probably you wouldn't turn up for a debate, really. And so Trump said yesterday, he who saves his country does not violate any law. So he's saying he's above, beyond the law now. Elon Musk is saying momentum is growing rapidly to impeach activist judges who repeatedly fail to follow the law. So, I mean, Elon Musk is mad as well. I mean, I latched onto that a while ago. Even if you look back to when he called that guy who was helping the children in Thailand get out of the cave or whatever they were trapped in, and Elon called him something. You know, it was just ridiculous. You know, it's someone that's unstable, and Elon's dad looks to be the same way as well. You know, just total madman. Um, so, and it's a pity because America, people have got a good view of America. You've got two aspects, America and their president. And at the moment the president's mad. First time round he sort of stayed within guardrails to an extent, or he tried and he pulled back mostly. But this time he looks as if he's totally unleashed. And he just looked like a dictator really. I made the pause there, I don't know what happened. Yeah, and really Europe have got to disconnect from America basically because of their president. I mean, really, people looked onto USA because they're fair and nice, you know. A lot of people say USA is bad, but they want to move there, or if they're there, they want citizenship. Once they've got citizenship, then they'll go on MSNBC and say the Americans are bad, they need to stop being so bad, etc., etc. Um, yeah, but I think people view America as fair and nice, and their presidents, they prefer democratic presidents, but yeah, yeah, but really we have. This is the first time I've really had a president like this, but really, and he likes to say that Europe and that are dependent on him. If that's the case, you need. Well, it's coming to the stage now where you need to break the connection. Well, I'm not even sure it's true, but you really need to break the connection uh, with America as much as you can. Not the American people and that, even though Republican voters are a bit crazy. And I think all this craziness, partly it's the people themselves are a bit crazy. You know, they're acting like 5-year-olds, basically Republican voters, or Trump voters, I should say. You know, with their meme coin. I mean, what an insult that is, that Trump coin. And if that isn't an insult enough, the Melania coin is. He's telling his fan base this is what you have to buy the day before his inauguration. I mean, apparently being a businessman, he made about $1 billion, or we don't even know that because his father made most of it. He inherited it. People have said he would have made more if he didn't do anything. Uh, yeah, that's worth about $1 billion. His Truth Social, which is his fan base, he's making adverts off his fan base, advert money, $3 billion. And also his land stuff. I think a lot of that's affiliate stuff now. Like the Saudis will say, we want to build a hotel. Can we call it Trump Hotel? And we'll give you 10% or whatever, 20%. Um, and then also, so that, say that's $4 billion from those two. And apparently that's his Trump coin's worth about $58 billion. So nearly all his wealth is from that $58 billion, from the about 90%, yeah, 92% or something, from that Trump coin. And then you've got the Melania coin as well. Um, I mean, it's like the Gaddafi family, really. I think eventually his fan base will turn against him at some point. I mean, you can't see it at the moment, but they're a bit crazy as well. Partly also because they don't like the electoral system and the democratic system. The democracy system, and they're quite right, I think, is it's archaic. The American, the British one, they're all archaic. We've got to be like Switzerland where you get quarterly referendums, you get petition referendums, um, and really you're voting on issues rather than parties, where you get party hampers and stuff. Um, yeah, so I don't know who's running this thing, but they're doing a fantastic job. Just being a truth checker, really, fact checker. Um, really, even using Grok for Trump, what he says, is a good idea, I think. Elon Musk's Grok is even good for that. Elon Musk is mad as well. I think those two will fall out at some point, you know, because it's how many madmen can you have around a table or whatever? You know, you've got Tulsi Gabbard in there, you've got Kennedy Jr., or whatever his name is. Yeah, so I think Trump's, how long he's going to last, I don't know, but I think his own fan base, they're the only people that can get rid of him. Uh, and I think Europe will need to disconnect as much as they can. I mean, I saw Zelensky at the Munich defence conference thing yesterday said that Europe needs its own army, which is true. I mean, when I first heard about a European army, I thought it was stupid. No, we don't want a European army. But now I think, yeah, well, we do. For Russia, basically. Just to keep Russia off. That's really the only reason, really. Because it doesn't look like Russia's going to be the America of the East. They want to be. Because to me, the problem around the world is with the West, it's built on fairness and niceness. So you've got these two things. You've got fairness and niceness. Maybe you could add to that common sense as well. Any country can be a Western country, you know. If you take places like Slovenia, a tiny country, but the quality of life there is probably pretty good now. And if you compare that to Africa, Asia, Middle East, or even China, people seem to want to move away from China. The Chinese seem to want to move to the West. It seems that way. Nobody seems to want to move to China, even though it's the second biggest economy. Some people do that, apparently, I've heard. But I heard a lady who's got family there, who's British now, works for the Spectator. She said, yes, down in South China, the people there are suffering a bit of R word. The people who have come are suffering a bit of R word. But I think there's very little going on in China, apparently because people don't seem to want to go there, even though it's the second biggest economy. Yeah, here's Elon Musk's had another baby, apparently. This is mummy number 4. It was all top secret. Apparently, she's very far, you know. And so, yeah. So how long they're going to last, I don't know, really. I mean, I'm sure JD Vance and Marco Rubio, they're wondering, oh my God, what have I done? But they're appeasers. They should, for me, they should be forever ashamed, no matter how good they are. That JD Vance speech yesterday was pretty good, I thought, from what I saw, the Munich conference speech, when he was talking about the main issue, which I think is the main, which is mass migration, really, to the West. Yeah, because there's a lot of countries in the world. See, the West is nice and fair, and I feel that's why people want to move there. Whereas the other countries and continents even seem to be ego-based. This is my impression, and people don't seem to want to live there. Both the people of those places, which are beautiful and warm, and also anybody else, you know, Corbynistas or anyone. Nobody seems to want to move there. You know, we don't hear people who've got mansions. Americans, celebs have got mansions in certain continents or whatever, you know. They may have Dubai now. Dubai's sort of, but from what I've heard, Dubai is a sort of soulless place. I mean, I think about 95%, only about 5% of the people are the locals, basically. Nobody can get citizenship there because it's far too difficult, or I don't know if it's even possible. Everyone's temporary who's going there. So these are places seem to be ego-based that people don't seem to want to go to, especially from the third world or whatever. They don't want to go to East Europe as well, you know, just to show you it's not. Some go to East Europe, but I think I use it as a leapfrog or something to try and get into the West. Yeah, so Britt Hume, the Fox News chief political analyst, apparently they've dropped the corruption case against the New York Mayor Eric Adams. And Britt Hume is saying, I've been waiting for some legal justification for doing it. None has come. I'm now convinced none is coming. Bad move. Yeah, so this is basically there was a legal case against the New York Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, but Trump likes him because he's a bit of a troll. I mean, to me, that's how Trump likes trolls, basically. Trump's trolls or, quote, hard men, you know, wrong ones, like Putin and Kim Jong-il and all this, you know. He says that Kim Jong-il sent some nice cards and stuff. I mean, that all ended up a lot of nonsense, you know. He was going to solve Korea or whatever. Came to nothing. he was going to build a wall. As far as I know, that came to nothing. He built some sort of metal fences that I think he dug under, or even the fences get moved aside. I think he made about 500 miles or something. I'm guessing Mexico didn't pay for it. And all the things he's been saying about Greenland and things, the way he seems to work is anyone on his own side who is not family, he likes to insult just for the sake of it, to sort of show who's boss, even though you don't need to. Uh, like UK, EU, stuff like that, Canada, Mexico. So he does that, he insults them, his own side. And he even said to BRICS, uh, you can't stop using the dollar. If you stop using the dollar, we'll put mega tariffs onto you or something like that. I mean, have you ever heard such nonsense that these countries can't even stop being dependent on the dollar? I mean, I'm hoping they do away with the dollar so that they become sort of self-sustaining, and then people within those countries might want to stay within those countries. I get the feeling that won't happen, because China's the same biggest economy and people don't want to stay. Still move to the West. Uh, that's the only thing to judge countries on. Do other people want to move to the West? And basically, that's the only thing to judge them on, to judge the country on. So, yeah, they're talking about this Eric Adams thing. And now I've also just heard that apparently America swapped some guy in Russia who was jailed for drug dealing. I don't know if it was a fair trial or what. For a Russian in America who was probably dual citizen or something, who was into cybercrime, and they've swapped the two of them. And that's meant to be a good story, but how's that a good story if a drug dealer's not serving time, and also the cybercrime guy's not serving time either? I don't see how that's a good story. Yeah, so I don't know how this is going to pan out at all. I mean, it actually feels like a dictatorship. It feels like America's a dictatorship, going into dictatorship. It feels like there might be a World War III coming up. And Europe's got to distance itself from America because it's too crazy. Like I said, there was so much goodwill towards the American people, and there still is, even despite them voting Trump. Like I say, I think the main thing is mass migration, but you can't vote for that alone. You've got to vote for a party. So they're saying Trump's the worst for that. So, oh well, vote Trump. And like personally, I would have voted for Trump on that issue. But everything else, he's even crazier than what I thought, because he never said anything about Greenland or Panama or Canada or Mexico. He never said anything about that. Did he say anything about plastic straws? He's banning them, or not plastic straws, the paper straws, I don't know. But, because all you need to do is say you don't need to do paper straws, you can do plastic ones as well if you want, again. Even though they end up in the sea or whatever. But I know the paper straws are useless. That's probably one of his granddaughters that said that to him or something, But so it's complete madness. How long it's going to last, I don't know. And like I say, there's a lot of goodwill towards America. But most people, it's their final dream destination. I mean, even though they're a bit crazy, especially with the gun thing. I mean, in 1670 or whenever the Constitution was made, say 1776, and I would have been saying to them, and don't forget, everyone has a right to bear arms. I would have been saying that in 1776. But saying it now, I would have been saying, are you crazy? You don't want citizens having arms. Times have changed a bit. So I'm just looking at this. A day after it was revealed that Trump's DOJ dropped a criminal case against Eric Adams as a quid pro quo for his assistance in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, Trump's border czar Tom Homan told its New York City mayor during a joint appearance on Fox and Friends, or his pally or whatever. And this guy's been elected as a Democrat. So to me, he's let down at everything he's meant to represent. He's meant to represent two things: the Democrat plus something else. Uh, he's letting them both down, but whether it makes any difference, you can be a bull-less in America and get on pretty well. I mean, even, what's his name? I better not mention any names. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, this American team came to the Munich Defence Conference, Security Conference, totally insulted Ukraine. They're giving Ukraine up. Um, I mean, to me, Trump done a book, The Art of the Deal, which people bought and he made a lot of money from. And that's all the good that I've probably got to say about that. Probably has a book that's a lot of nonsense or whatever, but to me his deals look like the guy from Goodfellas and Casino that sort of, done gambling and then he wanted all his money back when he lost. That little guy that was in Home Alone, in the end he always get whacked in the movies because he was a crazy guy. So he had a good time at the start and then it all went bad. It all caught up in him, bad karma. So to me that's what Trump's deals are like when he's doing deals. Not only to his friends most of the time, I mean, and then to baddies, he's flattering them and seemingly giving them great deals like Putin, Kim Jong-il, and all this. So he's doing the opposite. I mean, personally, I think he's just doing it because he's a troll, basically. And then the other deal he does, the third deal is, he's maybe a sort of some peacemaker, a third-party peacemaker, who's to force a deal, and it's a garbage deal. In this case, Russia and Ukraine, or Israel and Palestine. Terrible deals that will just cause chaos, etc. I can't remember him doing one of these deals the first time round, because everything seemed to fail what he done, in the North Korea, Mexico war. But these deals, absolutely terrible, and I think they'll just collapse. They won't even come to fruition, or they'll just collapse. So even when they're getting involved in third-party things to solve the world's problems, terrible deals. Everyone involved in it should be ashamed. So he's probably the worst deal maker ever. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, it looks like America's going into dictatorship mode. So I'd follow this channel and tweet for fact checks, truth checking. I mean, in the moment it's funny because we've not moved into dictatorship yet. We are moving that way. I mean, another thing they done was apparently they arrested the FBI guys that took stuff from Trump's Mar-a-Lago thing. I don't know what it was they took, but what is that all about? I mean, they're just following orders. Well, it's nothing to do with them. So he started arresting people who have been involved with arresting them. It's looking pure dictatorship, really. And here's Gary Kasparov saying he's good for following on Russia. Trump wants to give Russia something for nothing and expects Ukraine to give America something for nothing. Cheap mafia behaviour. Yeah, and this thing about Ukraine, Trump suddenly says that he wants all the minerals or a lot of the minerals, and then they might think of giving him aid or whatever. And it's as if he thinks that by doing this, American voters will think, oh, that's really good. How is being unfair making it look good? I mean, America would think of fairness and common sense to a degree, and what was the other thing I said? Niceness. And I think that's why people want to move to the West, because other countries they think are ego-based. That's what they think are ego. Kalishnikovs and the women's rights and the LGBTQ plus rights. The left's view of the people from these ego countries is don't ask them about women's rights, LGBT rights, just make them citizens of the West. It doesn't matter, just make them. Don't add that to a citizenship test, right? Just add a few questions about history, all that sort of things. Agincourt, the Battle of Agincourt, what year was it? Don't ask them about women's rights or anything like that. Doesn't matter. So yeah, So he's got this thing like he wants Ukraine signs, as if the American people are going to think it's a great deal he's got for us, or whatever. No, it's a terrible deal. We don't want Russia on our doorstep. Uh, yeah. And the other thing, Russia's got an economy the size of Spain or something. It's a tiny economy. I think it's 10 times smaller than even America. Or, it's not even one of the G7 ones or whatever. And Trump says he wants Russia back in the G7 or G8. No, we don't want them back in the G8. Don't be silly. I mean, he's just a sort of total bluffer, troll, basically. He is alive. But what gets me is he's one of these poster types, and if you've ever went to school with a boaster or worked with a boaster, had a boaster in life, they don't make sense. It's just all about how they look good. Their world doesn't make sense. It's not even within the spectrum. So I think his own base at some point will give up on him. They've already had a few scares, like with the H1 visa or whatever it was that Elon Musk supports. It brought in Vivek, who was a great success as a businessman and as part of the Trump thing. We don't know why he left. He got removed after 2 weeks, but apparently he's a great success. The German Defence Minister is saying it slams GD Vance for his speech at the Munich Security Conference. Well, I don't know. He said Europe needs to stand on our own 2 feet. I would like that to happen because America's gone crazy, so or the president is, so I would like that to happen. Apparently, the EU, the economy is about the same size as USA, so why hasn't it? As thingy. But we need an EU army now, probably, yeah, definitely. So this is definitely somebody worth following. I hope I've given you a good time while you're driving, because you couldn't find anything to listen to on YouTube. I would like to go on even longer. But there's so many things about Trump, you would run it. Here's somebody saying it was like the Chamberlain Agreement. Was it a Munich Agreement in 1938? That's what Trump's wanting for Ukraine and Russia. But yeah, I mean, like in Britain, like I say, Truss, I don't even know how Truss got removed. I think our cabinet just resigned or didn't, said they weren't going to turn up or something. Same happened to Boris. In Trump's case, he's got crazies in there because they're not all elected politicians. So I don't think they will resign. They might, but all the people at Rex Tillerman, they should all be ashamed. Mike Pence. Mike Pence is one of his greatest critics now. After timings, for me, Mike Pence has got no kudos at all. He's not even worth listening to. Yeah, so I'm wondering how it's going to go. Like I say, last time I think he stayed within limits, and the neocons managed to keep him within a balance, and the other West partners managed to keep him within. Because even Boris, after Trump was his term was finished, or Biden got elected, Boris was saying something in Parliament like, common sense has been restored to America. He said that in Parliament, and yet in the build-up to this election, he's been saying Trump is very much needed. So he's such a like spittle, basically, a bum. He totally changed his tune. So Boris has got no credibility at all to me. And also Boris, the last two waves of migration over the last 4 years are Boris waves, you can call them, and I think they'll go down in history. I think British people will remember them. They don't realise Boris had such a input because there were 4 record-breaking years from non-EU countries. Yeah, hours after Trump insisted that Putin wants peace, a Russian drone struck the containment shell protecting the radioactive reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, causing significant damage. Steve Bannon, a lot of MAGAs on Medicaid. If you don't think so, you're dead wrong. You can't just take a meat axe to it, although I'd love to. So I don't know if he's still a supporter of Trump. I think he is, actually. Um, enabler. He's another crazy, it's all Rasputin guys. Never in my life have I seen anything like the collective suicidal madness that has overtaken the Republican right. Not sure there's been anything quite like it anywhere, ever. I don't know who he is, Andrew Coyne. Um, yeah, and I've just cancelled all US aid and all that. That's Elon Musk. He's another crazy guy. I think those two will fall out though. Trump and Musk, eventually. Uh, Kanye West. So Van Jones is saying Kanye West is a bad person. I don't know if he thought that 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. He used to be a success, a business success. I know that Don Butler MP used to put him down as a business success. Drain the swamp up my ass. What are they talking about here? Just as Trump was sworn in, lawyers for Mayor Eric Adams of New York went to the White House with an extraordinary request. They formally asked in a letter, that he would be pardoned, basically, and he did. Pardon him, or drop the charges. Trump once again blames Biden and Zelensky for Putin's war against Ukraine. Why are Ukrainians even engaging with Trump's representatives at this point? Well, I don't blame Ukrainians and Zelensky for trying to, placate Trump, but it's going to come to nothing really. And the way they're doing it is they might make a fool of Trump in a common sense way. They're saying maybe we can do a deal with the minerals, for aid. But Trump's actually wanting to say that so that he stops it altogether. So I don't think that's going to come to anything. We don't know. Because he wants Ukraine to lose. We don't know why. Because he's crazy, basically. He likes bad guys. Jeff Timmer is saying, Trump is weak, stupid, incompetent and corrupt. His only motive, even for anything he does, is Trump. I mean, I don't think he even cares about his own family, or Ivanka and all that. He does things to overflatter him, and that's the last people he would disown. But really, he's just thinking he's got to look good in any situation. He's got to look good and powerful. He's got to look as if he's in with the baddies, the bad guys. Basically, so even family don't come into that. I mean, they would be the last people who would give up. I mean, he's even giving Gaza to Jared and Ivanka, basically. He's doing an ethnic thing to those people as a present to Jared and to how they gave him 100 million. He doesn't actually care about that area. He's just doing it because somebody gave him a lot of money, and a few people gave him a lot of money, and also family as well. He just gives things up. He doesn't care. And the Pizzagate guy. This is the guy who went to a pizza because somebody, one of Trump's supporters, said that some guy was part of Hillary Clinton's ring or something. It was a lot of nonsense. And he's saying the Hellscape team at the Pentagon invited far-right activist Jack Posobiec on its first overseas trip, alarming numerous defence officials. I mean, what's his point? Is he saying it's a good thing or a bad thing? Yeah. He's got 1.8 million views. Sorry about that. One official said that the potential involvement of Posobiec, a Trump booster who is known for peddling conspiracy theories and trolling political adversaries online, has raised questions within the Pentagon about Hiskup's judgment and what he aimed to communicate to US allies. So this guy was in Ukraine today with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. It was not clear as we published whether. So I don't know what he's saying. Somebody's saying he was kicked out of the Navy. I mean, what's his point? Does he not like Trump anymore? He's a guy who went into a pizza place because of Hillary Clinton, some conspiracy theory about Hillary Clinton. I mean, I'm giving these conspiracy theories the benefit of the doubt that I think they know they're talking a lot of rubbish, But I'm not sure now. So I don't know what his point is. I mean, so the pizza guy now thinks Trump's insane, is that what I was saying? Only missing the Kwan and Shaman and the My Pillow guy. That's the other two Trump enablers, fan base enablers. Q making its rounds. Yeah, this is the QAnon thing, you know, which is a lot of nonsense. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, thinking that they know they're kidding on, but I'm not sure, you know. And this guy served in the Navy Reserve for 6 or 7 years, I don't know. Pete's news conference was a laughing stock of stupid. So, yeah, I don't know whether Pizzagate guy still supports Trump or not, you know. Yeah, so it's all bad news. This is worth following. Um, I think Trump's going to be. He's so crazy that at some point he's going to lose his fan base on one issue. They're going to try their best to be. Because to me, they're the same fanatics as those who support the Iranian president. You know, when you see these people out, these men usually out 1 o'clock on a Monday afternoon chanting for the Iranian president or whatever, you know, a big crowd, or Ayatollah's funeral, Ayatollah keeps falling out his casket because they're all. To me, that's what Trump supporters are like, basically. Um, you know, just sort of fanatics, really. They don't make sense. So, like I say, I think the main problem is we need to be like this was electoral system so that you can take issues out of parties. You're no longer based on parties, on people. You're based on issues. You get to vote on them quarterly. You know, like something. Do you think mass migration is a good thing for women's rights and LGBTQT plus rights? You know, that sort of thing. You can ask a question like that. Do you think it's a good thing? That sort of thing. I appreciate Senator McConnell, and ironically, Mitch McConnell was the only Republican brave enough to reject Kennedy Jr., who's crazy, who provoked his wife to kill herself before having a showy funeral for her, then digging up her body and moving it out of the family plot once the cameras were gone. A metaphor for the GOP. So Mitch McConnell, ironically a saviour, first time round he was an enabler, but I've no time for Mitch McConnell. He's crazy as well. All these people are damaged for their legacy, you know, because the only way they can keep up appearances is if they have people who are Trump supporters. Because if everybody no longer supports Trump, no, it means that you've been crazy for your whole life, apart from whenever you turned against Trump, you know. So that's the reason they have to keep going, basically. Yeah, so there's something for you to think about. I'll leave it at that. That should be enough for your car, Johnny. Alright. Follow Republicans against Trump. It's a good fact checker. Okay, bye bye.